Hey, you've been doing low carb for a while and you're saying, I don't have enough recipes. I say, pshaw. Go check out Anna Vocino. She's got eathappykitchen.com. You will find not only sauces and powders to make all sorts of delicious foods, but there are cookbooks. Eat Happy and Eat Happy Too. So I don't want to hear, I don't know what to eat when I go low carb. Go check out all of that right now and on with the show.
Thanks for listening to Vinny Tortorich on NSNG Lifestyle Audio. Welcome to the Fitness Confidential Podcast with Vinny Tortorich, founder of NSNG, and co-host Gina Grad. Brought to you by PureVitaminClub.com, the world's purest vitamins.
I am Vinny Tortorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean. Guaranteed.
Riding along on my push bike, honey, when I noticed you. Riding downtown in a hurry, honey, down South Avenue. You look so pretty as you rock along. You look so pretty as you were singing this song.
Yeah, push bike. Mungo Jerry. A little out of your league there, isn't it, Gina?
Yeah, I thought it was, if your daddy's falling, it has the same background. Just do it.
I think Mungo Jerry did that song too.
Okay, well that makes perfect sense.
Maybe. I can't remember that, but it sounds like he did. But yeah, that was in that era. You know, Melanie was during that era, right?
Melanie?
You don't remember Melanie?
No.
Really?
No. Melanie?
Okay.
Yeah, in the summertime, Mungo Jerry.
Yeah. So you know Mungo Jerry, right? Tell me you don't know Melanie right now.
My bicycle past your window last night. I roller skated to your door at daylight. It almost seems like you're avoiding me.
Love this.
You know her, right?
Well, of course, but I have to admit, the first time I ever heard it, I didn't understand it. Because I thought, why would you need a key for a bicycle?
Yeah. Well, you need it. No, you don't need a key. No, for roller skate. Because when I was a kid, we didn't have the fancy ones that you could put on and you string up. There was a key, so you could put them on your shoes and lock it onto your shoe.
Oh, they were slip-ons.
Yeah, and then you would use a key to lock it onto your foot.
Had no idea.
Yeah, roller skates had keys.
I got a brand new pair of roller skates.
So you know Melanie, right?
I love that song.
Yeah, I mean, all of that. There was a lot of riding and wheels back in the day. You know, it was like
yeah, everybody had to go somewhere.
Mungo Jerry was on a push bike, and
Mungo Jerry.
Yeah.
Wow.
And by the way, I bring that up because Gina, as you may know, I was just in Mammoth Lakes, California.
Oh, you and Mammoth, it's like your Mecca.
It is. I went there. I had to go to L.A. to do work.
Yeah.
And as the audience knows, if you're new to the show, I've been going through chemo and everything, and I've finally been allowed to get on an airplane, meaning my neutrophils were high enough, my white blood cells were just high enough, so they allowed me to fly.
Good.
And my red blood cells are still in the tank.
Okay.
They're coming around a little bit, but they're not even close to normal level. But doctors don't really care about that because you won't get some infection.
Okay.
Your red blood cells are the ones that carry oxygen to your blood, right? So,
okay. So that makes me wonder. Well, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead. I ain't no doctor. I'm wondering if being in a place like Mammoth is helpful because of the. Okay,
I will explain.
I'm gonna stop. Okay, great.
So,
glad I'm on the right track.
Yeah. So, all right. So your dad, me, all of us, when we go through the chemo we went through, they give you a very expensive drug. Last time it was around $16,000. This time it was the same amount of money, around $16,000. And it's called Neupogen.
Yes.
So the Neupogen goes in and it artificially builds up your white blood cells. It also makes your bones feel like they're breaking. your hips, your quads, because it's causing your bones to generate what it's not generating at the moment.
So it hurts.
It hurts.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and some people, you need to smoke a lot of pot. Nah, you know what? You just sit there and you watch some Hallmark movies. In a couple of days, your pain will be gone. Okay?
I was thinking about you. I saw a commercial for When Calls the Heart or When Cries the Heart.
I don't do that series. That's a series in Hallmark. That's not me. That's a little too sappy. I can't go that far.
Okay.
Right.
You stick with Christmas and, well, no, you're hardcore. You don't just do Christmas.
And I don't do Christmas in July, which is a big Hallmark thing. I was just
going to ask you about that. I just heard that was happening.
I'm a purist.
Okay.
They do that every year, Christmas in July.
Oh, my God.
I don't do that. I've now gone on to Hallmark Mysteries. So I'll either watch Hallmark Romance, which is exactly like the Christmas shows, except there's no tree and no fake snow.
Yeah, right.
Same actors, same
Babbling
actresses.
Brook than Powder White Snow.
Yeah, because they'll do autumn, where you'll see a lot of leaves and pumpkins. They'll do spring. They do it at the beach. They go on vacation. They do it in Greece. They do it in Italy. But it's the same thing every time. Little pomp, little circumstance.
Oh, God.
And it ends on a kiss, and then it goes right to the credits.
Gotcha.
I still want to write one.
That's how you got through chemo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and really bad Stallone movies. So you do what you got to do in life.
It's the perfect combo.
Yeah. So let's go back to health and fitness.
Please.
So that's how you build your white blood cells up. With that. Now, if you remember, one Mr. Lance Armstrong was blood doping. Remember that? People like, Lance took steroids.
Oh, he's a criminal.
Yeah. Well, he took a performance-enhancing drug. I think they were taking some steroids, but not what you would think, not to bodybuild type steroids.
Right.
Just to recoup faster. But the way you get more red blood cells to carry more oxygen to your muscles is to have more red blood cells, right? Is what I meant to say. And you could do that a couple of different ways. In cycling, they used to do something called blood doping. You might have heard that term along the way. That's where you take, as the person is training, every week you pull a pint or so of blood out, and they put it through a centrifuge. Do you know what a centrifuge machine? Did you go that far in science when you were a kid?
No, but like a spinning machine.
Yeah, it spins something really fast. So you put test tubes all around it, and they're at an angle, and you spin it really fast. And because of the centrifugal force, it pushes these cells away from those cells, so you can separate blood. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how they get platelets. They get red blood cells. They get whatever you want. You can separate it out.
Wow.
With this machine.
Very cool.
So they would take a little blood from the guys, back in the blood doping days.
Right.
And you keep collecting it. They centrifuge it. Then they freeze it. And now during the tours, what they would do is every night after these guys ate dinner, they would go back to their room. Somebody would come in, hook them up to a line.
Yeah.
And only pump the red blood cells back in. Now you have, number one, you can't detect it.
Well, because it's from you.
It's your blood, and it's red blood cells. And so the next day, you're superhuman, right? You could carry more oxygen to the working muscles to make you faster.
Got it.
Worked like a charm. Couple of problems with blood doping. One is you can make the blood too thick and kill an athlete. They did that a few times.
Jesus.
The other problem is messy. You got to keep the stuff on ice, sneaking into the hotels. The Italians, it's too messy. They wouldn't be in that business. We like things to be a little cleaner. And so you have that problem. And they started figuring out, look, most people don't have a hematocrit level over 52. And these guys were coming in at 54, 56. And that's when they started docking them, going, okay, you didn't have this. So they started doing a baseline. And if you came in with a 54, 56, and you're usually a 49, they were like, okay.
Red flag.
Doping, right?
Yeah.
So then, Amgen, a company out there in California that makes Neupogen, they also make Epogen, also known as EPO. So just like Neupogen makes the white blood cells go up, Epigen makes the red blood cells go up.
Oh.
And you could carry it around and just put in a little syringe. You give yourself just a little intramuscular shot. You don't have to go into the vein, so you don't have.
Oh.
They could just hand the shot to the athlete, pops it in his leg, boom, and you're good for the next day, or whenever, right?
Right.
And they don't check these guys until after the stage, so it burns out of them, and they check them, and you can't find anything. Right?
Sounds like a solid plan.
It worked like a charm.
I
Lance
bet.
got away with it for 7.5 tours. No problem.
And also, like, I don't know anything about, this is obviously your area, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, does it have to be illegal? It's from you. If everyone else.
Well, the Epigen is illegal. But you see, that's the problem. Not everyone can do it because you have to have the money to do it.
Got it.
So the poorer teams can't do it.
And it's like we talked about a few weeks ago with that really crazy looking bike. And if not everyone has access to that, then it's not
the hydrofoil.
So that I understand. Yeah.
And look, I'm going to be honest. Like they'll tell you in the tour, the bikes can't be less than a certain weight, meaning 15 pounds and something. When I was doing my ultra cycling, we got bikes down to 14 pounds and something.
What?
Yeah, you can just spend money and get bikes down to nothing weight. You couldn't train on that bike because, basically it's paper mache parts at that point, but you would ruin stuff. So you would train on heavier equipment and then just change them out. Same frame, change it out, make your bike, literally 14 pounds, which was illegal in the tour, but legal in the events we were in. There was no weight limit.
Okay, this is all starting to make sense. It's not like it's dangerous or, in that way. It's not, it's not that it's not healthy. It's just that not everyone can access it.
Right. So you have that situation. And so why am I in the mountains? Right? Mm-hmm. Well, there's this might be the whole show today, Anna, Other Anna, Gina.
Other Anna, yeah.
Yeah. So if you live at altitudes, your body naturally makes more red blood cells. Now, you've been to Mammoth, right?
I have.
You get to Mammoth, you get out of the car, you walk up a flight of stairs, what happens, Gina?
What do I do? I call you in a panic attack. That's what happened.
You bend over, right? It's like, oh my God.
I go, there's something wrong with me. I don't know if I just got really lazy or what, but I'm winded and I'm having a hard time catching my breath.
Yeah. Yeah. And what happens on the second day? Is it quite as bad?
No, not
By the third day, you feel it at all?
No.
So at 8,000 feet, once you sleep there for a couple of nights, you're fine.
Yeah.
So what happens? Our bodies are pretty amazing. You go to altitude and your body goes, oh, wait, I can't carry enough oxygen to keep Gina's heart right where I want it to.
Right.
The brain is going to always protect itself. So your body starts making red blood cells naturally.
Oh.
Now, genetics, you can't get up to like a 56 like you can on drugs, but let's say you walk around most humans walk around between, I'm going to make this up, 41 and 43, 44.
Okay. Let's call it 42.
Let's call it 42. And, you work it up. You're there for a few days. If someone took your blood while you're on the mountain, you might be up to 44, 45, right?
Okay.
All right. So if you're up there skiing for several days, for 5 or 6 days, the longer you stay up, the more it'll increase until you're in good shape. When you come back down to sea level, most of that goes away. But I'm like, you know what? I could get some fresh air and maybe heal myself by being up here for 5 or 6 days. Get that red blood cell count up because mine has been in the dump.
Yeah.
Right? So I went up there to feel better. There's also a method, since we're talking about this. It's called, and I've done this. This is how they figured out I had cancer the first time. I wrote about this in a book. It's called Train Low, Sleep High.
Right. And God forbid I mix those up because I always go, which one is it? So please re-explain this.
So when you train close to sea level, you can work your muscles harder.
Mm-hmm.
But if you sleep at altitudes,
you're recovering faster, recouping all of that.
A lot of boxers, because you could go from sea level to 8,000 feet really fast by going to Big Bear, California.
Oh, yeah.
Oscar De La Hoya used to go up there to do camps to get in shape.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. That's why people say, why does he go up there? It's like, because it's at 8,300 feet.
Right.
And you can be back down at sea level in no time.
Yeah.
Just up and down that mountain.
That makes so much sense. So I want to hear real quick about your experience. So the first day when you're already way behind in your count, how did you feel the first day in Mammoth?
I felt okay. I was breathing way harder than I normally breathe at 8,000 feet.
You're like panting.
Yeah, I would get to the top of the stairs and my heart was going
Yeah.
as if I just sprinted a bit.
Right.
But I knew to take it easy.
Yeah.
And I knew to walk around easy every day.
This was all part of the plan. So
Right.
It's not like you were shocked. Yeah.
Right. I told myself, okay, I have a Whitney pass. I decided not to use it. I gave it up. I gave it up before I got there because
Smart.
I said, I'm going to hurt myself if I try to go up that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
But I did post some photos. I did climb as high as 11.5. I think 11.5 was the highest I saw on my. But that was after several days of being there. Not on Whitney. I'm talking about in Mammoth.
Still, you climbed to 11.5 and you're the one recovering from cancer?
Yeah, but it was after days of being there. Every day I went for a longer walk. One day I went right up the gut. I walked right up the straight up Mammoth Mountain, all the way to Chair 3. That was my goal, was to get to the top of Chair 3 without switchbacks. And it was like I was climbing Everest. I would have to stop and catch my breath. My buddy Dan Lynch was with me. He got
Did you take the gondola at any point?
No, I walked down. Because it's easier to walk down, for me at least. And you build up quad strength and knees and everything else.
Okay, yeah, no, I know
but
you
Gina,
have your method.
I wasn't doing hero shit.
Yeah.
It was, I'm just going to go walk today. And if I can't walk, some days I just walked around the flats of Mammoth Lake, like right around town.
Beautiful. And you're still walking 8,000 feet in the air.
8,100 to be exact.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I stayed up at the Tamarack, which is at 9,000 feet. So I was staying much higher. So sleeping like that.
Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah. Well, that and I love going to Tamarack. It's my happy place. But yeah, I took a big old swim in Lake Vinny. I just,
Oh, Oprah, I've missed you.
I just took it easy and said, you know what? I'm going to use this time to relax because I'm getting ready to go to LA to open up a can of whoop ass on Corolla and Mike Rowe.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did Mammoth first.
Yeah, I did Mammoth. I was there for like 6 days.
Oh, okay. So for me, maybe I just wasn't following you close enough. To me, this felt like very mysterioso. Like I didn't know what you were doing and when you were doing it.
Yeah.
So I see. And did you do any kayaking, anything like that?
No, I didn't because I was just enjoying the walks.
Beautiful.
Right. Just going. And for the first time ever, since a lot of time I was by myself, I wore a tracker. And I would recommend folks, these things are expensive. It's a little beacon that you put on your pack. The one I have is made by Garmin. Mm-hmm. But
they know what they're doing. It's
a beacon. I mean, it's good if you go off in the winter to have these things in case there's an avalanche or something. They can.
And how does that work?
It's a satellite, and it connects to not just a couple of satellites, but a ton of them. Like when you turn it on, it takes 5 minutes to go all the way and get all the satellites because it's tracking you. And the other thing you could do is send messages and make phone calls because you can Bluetooth to that. You now have a hot wire right to the satellite. So
perfect.
If you're in trouble, right? If I ended up in trouble, I was able to text Serena or someone and go, "Hey, get someone up here. I need SARS to come up here and get me."
Beautiful. Thank God.
Yeah.
But you didn't need it. And what was the weather like? Because it can get hot up there. People think it's always chilly. It's not.
It was hot and dry, and then it rained, and I welcomed the rain. One day I was coming down from a hike, and you only get this in the mountains, and I was about 11,000 feet. It was still sunny. The sun was coming in one way, but I guess the cloud was right over me. So it was sunny, and all of a sudden it started sleeting. So I'm in a sleet storm coming down, and it was sunny.
You're like Olaf from Frozen. Oh, my own cloud flurry.
Yeah, just following me down. And so it was really good. The only thing I wish was, as Serena says, I went on my honeymoon alone. You know, I wish Serena could have been there, and you know, she had too much stuff going on here, and so yeah. But that's what I did to try to make, and I still feel better.
That was my next question. What are there after effects?
Yeah, but you know, if my red blood cells don't start coming back on their own, you know, you lose it within a week. Sure. So I've been back. I've been down for like 4 days now, so it's going to start dwindling.
And you didn't have any altitude sickness from coming back, did you?
You would only have it going up. You know,
okay, well, what did I have? Because boy, did I make you work when I went to Mammoth, because I was texting when I was winded. I was texting when I was this, when I was that. Mm-hmm. And on my way home, and when we got home, I was like, I had a fever and I was cold and I was shivering and I felt so dehydrated. And maybe you didn't call it altitude sickness, but you're like, oh, that's normal. It'll go away.
Yeah, what people don't realize is when you live at altitude, you need to drink more.
Oh, so that was it. I was just dehydrated.
And I think when I sent you that text, you went, okay, hand me another beer. No, I meant drink more water.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah, look, I didn't have any alcohol. I didn't do, you know, I just, coffee was about it. And I forgot to bring, it killed me, Gina. I forgot to bring this.
Oh, your special thermos.
So I ended up buying 2 of those really tall Nalgene's. They hold 48 ounces each. Literally, when I went on 2-hour hikes, I took 2 Nalgene's.
Oh, my God.
And my deal was empty both of these before you get back.
And I assume you had some ultra salt in there.
Yeah. Well, I was taking them manually. I didn't put them in the Nalgene's. And so, yeah, I was using, and people go, oh, Mr. No Plastic. You know, when you pour water into something and it's sitting there for 3 hours, you're not going to get the leaching you will get. No. If you buy water in the store that's been in there for 6 or 8 months, getting hot in a warehouse, you know, that's where the leaching happens.
On a container across America in the heat, I get it. Talk about, you know, the lesser of two evils kind of doesn't even compare.
Yeah. So, you know, did I throw those Nalgene's away? No, because they were freaking expensive, $20 each.
Jeez.
But that iron thing, you can see how beat up this thing is.
Is that the one where Ozzy took one and your heart almost broke?
Yeah, Ozzy, I had 2 of them, and Ozzy and I were working when we were moving out of the house to move here, and I said, Ozzy, look, I'm going to put this red, you know, I tied a piece of red string. I said, this is yours, and what I was saying is,
it for today.
While we're working over the next 4 or 5 days, this is yours.
Yeah.
And he never took it home at night. He left it there. I would wash it out for him, fill it up the next day, and we would continue on. But on the last day when I paid him, he started to walk away, and he goes, oh. And he turned around, and he went, and he grabbed, he goes, I almost forgot this. And I was like, enjoy.
There's your tip.
Yeah. So in his mind, he thought I had given it to him, and I didn't have the heart to tell him.
I was going to say, he took you very literally.
Yeah, and it's so sad, man. I still think about Ozzy. Your dad, Ozzy, they died around the same time.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And boy, whether you got to know my dad or not, I can say you would have been best friends, and I know Ozzy loved you.
Yeah, and I even asked Serena, I said, Serena, you and Ozzy speak Spanish to each other. Is he as hard to understand in Spanish? She goes, no, he speaks perfectly good. He
speaks the Queen's English.
Yeah, yeah, the Queen's English version of Spanish. I was like, you're kidding me. Because they never spoke English around me. They just spoke in Spanish.
I had no idea, and I didn't know that Serena spoke fluent Spanish.
What doesn't she speak?
I know. Please. What am I even saying?
She speaks Spanish, Italian, fluent French. I mean, like the French.
Yeah. No,
of course. Get this. Broken Russian.
Why not? Why not throw that in there?
I cannot even speak English. I murder one language.
Well, now that you told me that, I don't think she's old enough for this, but because she's Serena and can do and has done everything, when you say broken Russian, I'm like, was she a Cold War spy? Because she would have been
You know who she reminds me of? Who was the really, like, one of the most beautiful women in the world, and she also knew how to code for the government?
That was that Hedy Lamarr?
Hedy Lamarr, yeah. Hedy Lamarr.
Yeah.
Serena reminds me, she could have been a Hedy Lamarr type.
Yeah, 100%.
You look at her and you go, oh, because like when I first met her, I went, oh, she's the most striking woman I've ever seen.
Yeah. She's stunning.
And then when we got past the beginning part of the oxytocin of dating,
yeah,
I was like, shit, I'm falling in love.
Whoopsie.
And she's hot.
Yeah.
Which means there's no way she can rattle a pot or a pan.
Yeah, and she has to be dumb as a bag of rocks.
Well, I knew she wasn't right away.
Oh, good.
Like when you have that's how we hooked up on this, more cerebral level,
right.
Which is hard to believe that I can go to. But but then I was like, shit, she's cooking for me tonight. I wonder if I should eat before I go over.
Yeah, have a little snack just in case.
Yeah, just in case I got to throw it away. Kind of like Jerry Seinfeld with the mutton.
With the mutton, put it in the napkin.
Yeah, dog is following me out. But no, she not only can she cook, but if you go to a restaurant and you eat something and she likes it, if I say, honey, taste this, that means I want her to go home and replicate it. And she will replicate it.
This woman.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Like, I'm only not mad about it because the other problem with her is she's so GD likable and nice.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be mad at her for being perfect.
Her mom was like that, by the way. Mm. Her mom was this incredibly gorgeous woman who was very talented artist. Who actually, was commissioned by the Queen to do certain pieces. Yeah. Oh my
God. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. That family is just, and they have no confidence. None of them.
Which makes them even more attractive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. The people who are touched by God should at the very least acknowledge it.
They have no idea.
Okay.
They really don't. I'll look around and go, what the F?
Or is that just a cultural thing? They don't brag. They're not braggers.
No, I don't think the Scott Thomases overall. I've said this to each of them. I said, whenever you walk up to you guys, you look concerned like someone's getting ready to give you bad news. And it's because they grew up, there was a knock on the door. Their dad died during a mission, crashed, and they never found his body. The mom married again to another fly boy. Another knock on the door.
Stop.
Yep, buried 2 husbands. And, they didn't have any money. These people made do.
Hearing that reminds me what our buddy Adam Carolla has said a million times, which is when you say, oh, that person's so lucky, they're lucky. And then you take a more focused look into their life, you go, are they really lucky? Would you feel lucky if you lost 2 fathers? Everybody has their story.
You couldn't, you can look at Kristen, who's very successful.
Oh, yeah.
Producer, still acting. I mean, she's got a show on television right now, Slow Horses. And it never ends for her. And you can go, oh my gosh, she's the luckiest woman on earth. If you said to her, hey, would you give it all up if your dad was still alive? I think the answer would be a resounding yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it is interesting. And I think that it's like you can call anyone lucky as long as you want to. In my opinion, as long as you're not doing it with resentment, because you have no idea. Everybody thinks that everybody, woke up on third and thinks they hit a triple.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure you've been through this a million times. I know every time I'm on a new radio show, well, who's she? They just, pluck her out of the chorus. I'm like, MFer, you have no idea how I have scraped and struggled and hustled for 20 years.
Yeah. As I've always said, I scratched and clawed my way right to the middle.
Here, baby. Same with me.
Yeah. Every day I got to get on that push bike, start pedaling.
Yeah.
Every day.
Exactly right.
Which is what we're going to end on here.
Wonderful.
I talked about this on Corolla. I think Mike Rowe is holding my show for several weeks. We talked about this, but I think it bears repeating here. There's a very, very, very sad trend going on. And I realize when I say this, I will get pushback.
Oh, well.
But hey, everybody was on a bike in Mammoth. Now, there's more, you see more obesity. You used to go to mountain towns and see everybody looked like
Olympians.
Lynn Hill. Look her up later. Famous rock climber, my age. Everyone looked like Sandy Hill Pittman. Everyone looked like, all of these, just very athletic people.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, look at her muscle tone. My God.
Yes, Lynn Hill. Probably one of the greatest female rock climbers in the history of rock climbing.
Wow.
That's my kind of woman right there.
Yeah, it is.
Serena, watch your P's and or your Q's.
Yeah, she needs to really look behind her at all times. Make sure no weather's coming up on her.
There's a leather-faced, weathered woman who I would be with tomorrow. Yeah, that's her. Yeah, she's incredible.
She can do the splits.
Now, I'm happy that people who are gaining weight, and they're going to places like Mammoth. Right. I want those people to be there so they can get in touch with their bodies.
Yes.
Exercise. I always say exercise is a poor way to lose weight. But if you exercise, then maybe you'll start getting in touch with, maybe I should eat better. Think about this, right? One leads to the other.
Yes.
Right?
And just like you said, waking your body up after being sedated.
Yes. Here's the part I'm having trouble with, and it's not just heavyset people. It's everyone, parents, kids, everyone. I was hard-pressed to see someone on a bicycle and pedaling.
Really?
Now, I know what people are going to tell me. No, they were on bicycles, but they had electric motors.
Uh-huh.
And it used to be where bicycles, a few years ago, had very small electric motors that you would use to assist you to go uphill. So the excuse people used to give me back in L.A. was, no, Vinny, you don't understand. I live on the other side of Santa Susana Pass. This allows me to get over the pass, which I couldn't do on my own, and I can ride the rest of the way into work.
Yeah, and start.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Vinny, this allows me to get on the mountain bike, and I can, when I get to the tough parts in the mountains, I can use the assist pedaling up with the electric motor, and it allows me to get into mountain biking. Love it. That is not what I witnessed. What I witnessed is the down tubes on these bikes and the seat tubes. The down tube, a bike is built like a triangle. You have the tube on top, and then you have the one that comes down from the handlebars. That's called the down tube. Those things are now 4, 5, 6 inches thick.
What?
Because they got a big giant battery in there because basically these are electric motorbikes now. The tires on them are really fat now and the whole thing. And the reason they're doing that, and they're built very sturdy. These things are not light. I was hard-pressed to see someone pedal these things. One foot was on one pedal, the other was on the other pedal. I never saw people making cycles with them.
Yeah, affixed at the top and bottom.
It might as well have been like a motorcycle foot peg.
Yeah,
why are we lying and doing this? Let's just now go to the reality that we don't have to have bicycle pedals on these things. We can have a motorcycle foot peg. No one is using this to assist them riding a bike.
Wow. And these were all over Mammoth?
The fact that I didn't get mangled by one is a miracle.
Wow.
It's a miracle.
I had no idea.
Gina, it scared me in ways you couldn't possibly, and I'm looking at it, and I said this to Corolla or Micro, probably both. Back in the, I'm looking for something. There it is. Way back in the 1920s, an article was written, but I shouldn't have told you that part. I read an article is what I should have said. And the article said that, bikes used to have a fixed gear in the back. You've probably heard people talking, they ride fixies. People that ride on a track, an indoor velodrome, those are fixed pedal bikes, which means you can't coast. Your feet are locked onto the pedals and you have to turn. And the way you stop is by slowing your legs down. You have to use muscles to propel yourself and muscles to slow yourself down.
Wow.
Think of a tricycle. You know how you can go on a tricycle and if you take your feet off, the pedals keep going.
Spinning. Yeah.
Right? That's called a fixie, right? Or a fixed pedal bike.
Okay.
I read this article saying because they made a coaster, right? So the coaster was you can pedal, stop pedaling, and your bike will coast. They put a ratchet in the back hub, right? And that was called a coaster. That's when you hit a click, 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 click. Right? So the article I read talked about literally the pussification of humans, saying we're going to get soft. Remember the soft and succulent comment? John Muir. This was another article way back in the 1920s saying, oh, my God, this is the end of humanity. They've now now you got to remember the bicicletta was created by Leonardo da Vinci. They said it can never work. How can something on two wheels go straight without falling over?
Yeah.
But in the early, then we had the penny farthing. That was the big wheel bike.
I love the penny farthing.
Yeah.
I'd never get on one, but I loved looking at it.
And I think like in the late 1800s, maybe 1900s, there was, and don't quote me on these dates, we had what was called the safety bike that was shown at a World's Fair somewhere in the world. And the safety bike is like the bicicletta that Da Vinci came up with, where you had a wheel in the front, a wheel in the back, and there was a chain-driven bike, the current bike. The reason they called it the safety bike is that the penny farthing had a problem. It caused a lot of death and paralysis. You would get paralyzed because
I wonder why.
If you hit a rock, you're up high, it would just throw you right over the front onto your head.
Right. To be essentially run over by the front wheel.
Well, if you lived.
Yeah.
Right? It was a tough injury. You had to be a badass to ride a penny farthing.
Oh, yeah. It was like, how tall is that thing? It was like one giant wheel you're sitting on top of.
Yeah, you're way up top, right?
Yeah.
So that was, so now you have something where you sit in the middle and you can roll over things. It was a safety bike. And it wasn't very long after that where we went, wait a minute. We have kind of an all-terrain bike. A newspaper in France went, you know what? Let's see who can ride around the country of France on a bicycle, which started the Tour de France.
Tour de France, yeah.
It was started by just the stupid, let's see if anyone can make it on a bike. Right. Now, they couldn't do mountain stages back then because the brake hadn't been invented yet.
Oh, my God.
That was only the fixed gear.
Wow.
Right? And then they came around with the freewheel, which made these guys be able to move faster and be more efficient. And then a guy came along, Campagnolo.
Yep, you told me about him.
Campy Record C. He put a smaller gear on one side and a bigger gear on the other side in the back. And when you got to the mountains, you would unscrew your tire, flip it around, and go to the big gear and just go up the mountain. So,
genius.
And then they came up with brakes, and when we got brakes, we went to the mountain stages and so on and so forth. Bikes just made that kind of progression.
Multi-gears and the whole thing.
But this article deals with the fact that we went from the fixie to the coaster, and this guy said, this is the end of humans.
Yeah.
Humans, this is the laziest thing in the world. Look at this. Right? And now look where we are.
Oh,
we're putting motors on bicycles.
Oh.
Right? This is not a good thing. This is not good in any direction that I can possibly come up with.
You're right. Because like you said, if you're not pedaling straight up a hill, then bike riding is pretty low energy. You know, it's like if you're there as a tourist, just pedaling around and taking in the sights, there's no reason for a motor. You're on essentially a flat surface, or you're going up a little incline and down a little whatever. There's just no reason for it. So you gave us reasons earlier. Like, look, Vinny, if I didn't have this motor, I wouldn't be biking at all because I can't get up there and I'm not going to do it any other way. But if you're just tooling around town as a tourist, what are you doing?
Yeah, and by the way, bikes, if people don't know, now have as many as 18 gears on them. So you can get a bike. A mountain bike, they'll put 3 rings on the front, and you got what, 8 in the back? So 3
I
times
thought they
8,
were called
20.
10 speeds.
Gina, we've gone away from the 10 speed a long time ago. There's 3 rings on the front, and there's as many as 8 gears on the back. So 3 times 8. Or 3 times 7.
24.
21 or 24.
21, yeah.
You know
what?
Yeah, so you can make a bike as easy as you want. This is pure, and you know these people. I was going to say pure lazy, and you know these people are going to do. And I said this to Corolla. They're going to ride around on these bikes for 15 miles and go, you know what? I rode 15 miles today. I earned those French fries.
Yeah, I deserve a treat.
Yeah, and I get it. You're out. You're getting fresh air. That's all good.
Yeah.
But do not confuse these bikes. Do not romance yourself into thinking that you somehow went for a bike ride, because you didn't.
You didn't. That's stolen valor.
Yeah. But, you know, we don't think that way. Everyone will tell you, oh, no, Vin, you don't understand. I pedaled most of it. It was just the tough parts. Well, if that's what you're going to do, get a bike, tell them you don't want a motor on it at all.
Yeah.
Because once you have a hammer, you start looking for nails.
You're right.
I'll never forget, I bought a brand new chainsaw. And after I cut the 2 or 3 things I needed to cut, I was like, well, I got to do my nails today. It's still over there.
Table leg looks a little uneven.
Yeah. What's going on with that bicycle over there? You know, you start looking for stuff. When you buy something new and you've used it for the intended purpose, you start looking around your house. It's like, what else we got here? You're
right. And not to go off in a different direction, but because you mentioned talking about this on Mike Rowe and Mike Rolla, I can only imagine at some point the conversation sort of dovetailed into people become hammers looking for a nail, looking for ways to be upset and to upset themselves and to say this person upset me and this person upset me and now I'm just upset and I'm a victim and I don't have to do it because you upset me.
Yeah.
So I think they all go hand in hand.
And look, Mike took flack the first time I went on the show. Look, no one's been on twice. There's 2 people that's been on more than twice. Me and a woman named Zito. We've both been on 3 times.
Wow.
And the bottom line is he says, look, when you're on, people get upset with me, right? Because we go there.
You say some divisive things.
Look, I'm that savant, right?
Yeah.
No one else is talking about this stuff.
No.
Look, as you know, I do not believe in shaming. I do not believe in body shaming.
Nope.
When you're me and you've been working with morbidly obese people for the better part of 40 years, I know that these people know that they're fat. No one needs to tell them that.
Correct.
They are already living their own hell. They're in prison.
Yes.
These people, I'll remember, prison. Remind me, prison.
Yep.
These people are in prison, walking around in prison. They see people water skiing. They can want to water ski, but they can't. They can see people doing different things. And I get it. They see people on bikes, some of these people, but a lot of them weren't that fat. Yeah. A lot of them could have been riding the bike without the thing. I get it. If you want to get out there and you want to feel it and you weigh 400 pounds, absolutely. Get out there, get some fresh air, try to go for a walk, do what you can. Give me a call. Get on my VIP group. I'm here to help. I am here. That's all I do. I've spent 40 years working with these people.
And boy, do you walk the walk, because I have been saying this for years. It's one of the many reasons why I trust you more than most of my family members, because you don't look for reasons to put people down. You're incredibly supportive, and you somehow marry that with with straight talk that is not sugar-coated.
Right.
And it's a really wonderful pairing. And you would never say something like I'm about to say because you're too good a human when people say you're fat and I'm not going to sugarcoat it or you'll eat that too.
Yeah.
Which is one of my, actually, that was, I don't want to misattribute, but I think it was a joke that Richard Simmons may have made in our aerobics class. Be like, well, I'm not sugarcoating it or you're going to eat that.
Yeah.
Which made me laugh. But you really don't shame people, but you also don't lie to them.
No, because they've been lied to their entire life.
Correct.
You know, someone needs to be their pal and tell them the truth. Two prison stories. As you know, this is a podcast where we taught the world about the Angola State Prison rodeo.
The rodeo.
Yeah. And Gina went down a path there.
I couldn't believe it.
Gina, I saw 2 movies on the airplane. And
Okay.
I know they're on Amazon and other places so people can
Okay.
find them. I've already looked it up. You want to see both of these.
Okay.
One is kind of a biopic, I guess you would call it. It's Matthew Modine. You know, the guy from one of my favorite movies.
What was he in? This is your, Quest, Hero.
Vision Quest.
Vision Quest. Hero Quest.
By the way, I had a fan that wrote me here. Let me tell you who the fan is.
no.
Dude, I finally saw Vision Quest. It was the best thing I ever saw. Let me see who wrote that. He wrote it to me on the X. Who wrote me that?
Well, it's not my fault that I have to catch up on love.
Bob Zimmer. Bob Zimmer. Dude, I just saw Vision
Okay.
Quest. It's great. Okay.
I had a backlog of Love After Lockup where these dumb women find love with these locked up prisoners who all end up dumping them once they get out of prison. That's not going to watch themselves.
Okay.
But I hear you.
Someone's got to watch it. I guess it's you. But I saw 2 prison movies. One was
Okay.
a biopic with one Mr. Matthew Modine.
Yeah, your favorite.
Okay. Second favorite, behind Frank Stallone, my favorite actor ever.
Right.
The lesser known Stallone. So,
What was it?
it's called Hard Miles.
Hard Miles.
And, you know, it's, what do you guys say? Schmaltzy? What do you Jews say?
Schmaltzy?
Schmaltzy.
Yeah.
But it's good. So if you want, and
Prison
it's,
movie?
huh?
It's a prison movie?
Yeah, it's about these kids in, you know, juvie. And it's based on a true story. And they tell you where all these people ended up at the end and what happened with the facility.
And it's new. It's from last year.
Yeah. So I saw Hard Miles on the way out to California on the plane. On the way back, I've been seeing this one. You know, there's movies you see up on the things like, I'm not going to waste my time. I got too much Hallmark to watch. And, but when you're on a plane, it's kind of like a horse on a trail. You know, on a trail, a horse will eat dandelions, but you throw that in their stall, they'll never touch it.
Correct.
Right? So I went, okay, on the way back, I see one, it's called 26.2 to
Like
life.
a marathon.
Yeah, 26.2 to life.
To life. Oh, let's see.
If you don't cry
Never
in
heard of
this
that.
movie, you don't have a heart.
Oh, boy.
I teared up in this movie. These guys, it made me realize a lot about, and as you know, I worked in prisons. It made me realize more about prisoners and what we're doing to rehab people. What's going on there in San Quentin is second to none.
So this is a doc.
That's a pure doc.
This is, inside the San Quentin Prison Marathon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And you will go, oh, okay, these guys get in shape and run a marathon. It's done with ESPN Films, which means they got
this.
big bucks. So I was looking at that going, God, I wish I had $1 million to do my next doc because, you know, you can see the money. Like I can see them, you know, because I make documentaries, I can see the money spent.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's 1.5 million if it's a penny.
This is the one, yeah.
Oh my God. And they follow the stories, right, of these guys.
Interesting.
And what happens at the end, if you don't tear up, you don't have a heart. You need to die right now. You need to just kill yourself.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But what
I'm
a story.
very intrigued by this.
Very inspiring movie. So hopefully this whole podcast today has been inspirational for you. If you need more inspiration, Gina Grad will inspire you when you go read her book, My Extra Mom.
Yes.
I love that movie. By the way, if you're out in the LA area, Gina Grad is on television every morning now, it seems like.
Not every morning.
How often, Gina?
But, maybe once every few weeks or once a month.
Every morning she's on the television.
Every morning. Yes. I like to hop over to Good Day LA Plus whenever they'll have me.
Yeah.
But yes, please go to VinnieTortorich.com. Click the Amazon banner and it'll take you right to My Extra Mom. It's a children's book. It's a family book. It's a book to explain how to incorporate a step parent into a child's life. I hope you enjoy it and I hope you use it because it's the book I wrote when I couldn't find the book I needed. So please do that. And then, of course, Instagram, Gina Grad, My Extra Family, and Grain-Free Comfort Food.
Do you know this girl Cortez that works over there at Fox Plus?
No.
Samantha Cortez, maybe?
No, I don't think so.
She's a big fan of my show, and she had me on over there a couple of times.
Oh, I'm looking right now.
I think it's Samantha Cortez. Very good-looking woman.
Oh, fantastic.
Samantha.
I'm looking.
Cortez.
Oh, yeah, wow. Let's see.
Is that her name?
Well, there is a Samantha Cortez.
Is she a brunette? Well, I guess anyone
No.
Cortez is going to be a brunette.
She's a KTLA.
She wasn't, I thought she was Fox.
I think she's KTLA.
Yeah,
if I'm looking at the right person.
Can you hold her up and I'll tell you?
Yeah.
Very good-looking girl. They had me on maybe twice.
I mean, it's a little hard to tell on
Yeah,
there.
that's her. That's her. Yeah, I can tell. And she's
Samantha
a big
Cortez and Andy Reismeyer.
Yeah, she does one of those shows.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Go check Gina out. She's on Fox. Sometimes, every day. And look, Gina Grad on Instagram, Grain-Free Comfort Food on Instagram, My Extra Family.
You did it! You hit the trifecta! You boxed the exacta, as Conway would say.
For once.
Oh, I'm putting this on my calendar. Mark the twine.
I can tell you one thing. Conway wouldn't have bet on me hitting all three of those. I can tell you that.
Right. And if he did, it wouldn't have been the day you'd do it.
It's like, it's too long. It's too long. There's no way he'll get it.
No, not a chance.
Folks, rate and review this podcast. Like that. That's the way we do it around here. Rate and review. Just go do it. Right.
Yeah.
And sign up, VinnieTortorich.com/VIP. Next time we open it up, you can be in there. By the way, you know who's in a VIP group now?
Who?
Quietly.
Who?
One Mr. Mike Rowe.
Yeah. Celebrity sighting.
I put a VIP in the VIP group.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and one Mr. Chuck Klausmeyer.
Oh, wow.
The dynamic duo.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't do it for yourself. Just go do it to lurk around with Mike Rowe.
And look, he goes, can I just go in and lurk and pay attention? I was like, absolutely.
I love lurking.
He wants accountability. That's
what
you got to love about Mike. We talked a lot about bicycles today, so we're going to end the show on a song about bicycles. On behalf of Gina Grad, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with these guys.
Bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle, bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride it where I like. You say black, I say white. You say bar, I say bite. You say shark, I say him. And Jaws was never my scene, and I don't like stars.
Thank you for listening to Fitness Confidential. Get more information at VinnieTortorich.com. Remember to rate and review us on iTunes and follow Vinnie on Instagram and Twitter.